What's up, y'all? It is CorpBabeASMR. Whether it's opinion or a fact, you know we're going to talk about it. So it was brought to my attention that Tom Brady's ex-wife, Gisele, former Victoria's Secret model, has regrets about the divorce. And you know, I was really rooting for them because I think they're beautiful. I thought they were a beautiful couple, beautiful family. They had the ideal setup, you know, American, rich family, white picket fence. You know, they had it all, right? But sounds like Gisele had other priorities that didn't really align with Tom Brady's priorities from what we had heard around his time of retiring to not retiring to retiring to not retiring. Tom Brady kept us on our toes, okay? There was a lot of back and forth with that. And as a woman, I can be empathetic to that. Because I see both sides. I see Tom Brady feels this is my way of providing for my family. This is doing what I'm passionate about, what I love. No one can take that away from me, not even my wife. This is a sacrifice that I made. I worked so hard for this. I've made a brand for myself. I made a name for myself, and I'm showing up for myself and my family. However, one could argue it looks like it's all about him, and another could argue, well, why doesn't she support his dreams? And then another could argue, well, why is he not making sacrifices to understand where his wife is coming from as a family man, to be there for his family? Because a lot of times I heard both sides. I feel as though maybe there was some brokenness in the home, and the wife just felt like, wow, well, maybe if you do retire, you'll have more time to invest into your family. I don't know exactly what was going on in the house. These are just my speculations and what I'm seeing as a woman, or woman to woman, human to human, and as a nurturing person by nature, how that can be perceived as. And a lot of times as women, I'm not a mom, I'm not married, not yet, you know, eventually in the future, that's something that I see for myself. But growing up in a nuclear home, not a, you know, more of a middle class home. I'm not Tom Brady and Gisele level yet, but in that type of respect, you know, overall family is very important to us. People go to work, they make the bag. My dad's the provider. He goes to work. He does what he needs to do to make sure everybody's good. My mom also works, but men are naturally known to be the providers, right? So they're always the ones going out to work, making sure everything's good. And the wife can do what she needs to do at home. Even if she has her job, you know, it's just separate entities and separate things, depending on how you run your household. But that's just the average way of how people look at it in the traditional world. Not saying everyone's going to see it that way, because I know how y'all get. But it's traditionally how that is viewed to be and how people practice it to be. And maybe in Tom Brady's case, you know, Gisele just wanted him to be more of a family man. She wanted him to be there more, wanted him to be more available, wanted him to be more accessible. I don't know, again, how their home dynamics really were, but looking from the outside in and reading in between the lines, I could see where she might have felt like football was taken away from that, and she may have been trying to fill a void and couldn't quite get that void filled. And so the only thing she felt like she could do was call it off, you know. And sometimes I'm sure that's the last resort. You got kids, you really do love this person, you made these vows, you know, through thick and thin, through sickness and health, you know what I'm saying? Like, these are things that you consider and think about, especially when you really do genuinely love somebody and care about somebody. Now, I don't feel that she really wanted to have to divorce him, but I think sometimes women might do that because that's their way of grabbing your attention and trying to see where your head is. So maybe if I threaten him with a divorce, maybe we can, you know. But what makes it worse is he moved on, from what I heard. He moved on. He's with another Victoria's Secret model, so he's got a type. Okay, I ain't mad at you, Tom. You better get you a model. I will say Tom Brady could model too if he doesn't already. He could definitely look into that. He's definitely got the image for it. Okay, the jawline and everything. But I say that to say, he's got the presence. I will say he is well off, even with or without football. He is well taken care of. Okay, no one's gonna let Tom Brady go down in the dumps, never. But once a woman sees you move on and she knows she had a good thing, even if they had that disconnect, and then you also have a family of kids together, that could cause regret too. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's, you know, the way to go about it, to regret when you see him move on. But I mean, I'm sure it added to whatever she was already feeling or confirming it. But I'm only going off what I'm seeing. I'm only going off what I'm hearing. I was really hoping they didn't get a divorce. I was really hoping that they could have worked it out. Like I said, I really thought they're a beautiful family. Don't do it for the kids. Don't get me. I'm not one of those do it for the kids. Do what works for you. Because at the end of the day, you are still a human who has to live your life the way that suits you best and fits you best. If you do it for other people all the time, you're never going to be happy. So I don't always agree with that, because there are so many married people out here who are miserable. They sleep in separate homes. Sleep in separate beds. They damn near hate each other. They just tolerate each other because they have kids. And what life is that? You know what I'm saying? And so if you're still legally married, things get really messy. Things get really icky, especially if you want to go out and do your own thing. And if you want to bring somebody else into your life, you can never really properly do that or in a healthy way. And you're going to drive yourself insane because you're still technically on paper and legally tied to this person. And y'all got kids on top of it. And y'all live in the same house. So the best thing to do is just totally cut ties and do what's best for you. In Gisele's case, she thought she was doing what's best for her, but maybe deep down inside, that was a cry for help. I'm not making excuses to those who don't agree. I'm not saying that Tom is wrong for feeling how he felt at the time, but I can empathize from a woman's perspective or even a mom's perspective. Even though I'm not a mom, but growing up in a home with a married family and parents, I could see where those kind of conversations could come up and really weigh on you. And unfortunately, divorcing for some reason is just so easy for people to do. Unfortunately, you know, and it's like, there's that. There are situations where it's necessary, very necessary, but unfortunately, you know, divorce is just never good unless it has to be done. Like, it's domestic, you know, it's, this person just is overall just abusive, or doesn't respect you, or doesn't care about you, or just lets you, you know, go out like cold turkey. But let me know what your thoughts are. Like, comment, subscribe. Let's talk about it. Share this video. We'll be back with some more. Thank you so much for joining. I'll see y'all next time. Oh, and don't forget to follow CorpBabeASMR. Bye.